Alright, back for another game. I feel like there's like this like weird like assumption in Hearthstone that the way you get legend is you just like play an aggressive deck and you just grind like a 60% win rate, but I think like even if you're playing aggressive decks, you can get like a win rate that's much higher than that. Like it's not about just it's not about maximize. It's about winning as much as possible, not about like just maximizing the amount of games you play. At least not to the degree that people assume it is. And yeah, so this hand is you have these are like three really good cheap cards, and this card doesn't do anything. So this hand is pretty ideal. It's actually a fairly interesting question what I do on turn one. I think the answer is Haunted Creeper, just because this is well, it's hard to say. I think it might. The question is whether I want to play Argent Squire or Imp Boss or Haunted Creeper into one of these two drops. And I think the answer is Argent Squire and Imp Boss, just because I don't really want to play these into a backstab. I want to lead with all of the minions that backstab doesn't interact favorably with. The fact that you can trade 2 dagger hits for this is moderately annoying, but certainly not the end of the world. The cost of doing this is that I end up with a lot of 2 mana cards in my hand, which are obviously a great deal less flexible than these cards. But these, I think this card is sufficiently difficult for him to interact with, and these cards are valuable enough later on in the game that this is worthwhile. So yeah, so now I get to play this and actually get a use out of the ability. Whereas if I just played it for a damage on his face, that like off of this Haunted Creeper, like it would have just died to a backstab and not accomplished that much. It is nice that that Phantom Knives isn't great against this, just because he can't also dagger, which is so like while it might not have seen that the Argent Squire have done very much, like him not having a dagger here is actually like extremely powerful. So now I'm definitely gonna play Knife Juggler and Haunted Creeper, and hopefully one of the hopefully between the dagger that comes out of this thing, or I guess it doesn't matter. So I'm certainly playing these 2 cards. If he had a backstab, he would have used it here. So this card's going to be really good. So this card's just going to be great. And so the question is, are the exchanges ever? Am I ever going to have a better exchange if the dagger hits this thing? And I don't think so. I could trade these 2 in, but this card's not really that valuable to me. So I think what I want to do is play this first, and then make these trades to guarantee that the dagger hits his face, and then play the Haunted Creeper to ensure, yeah, basically to like control where the 2 daggers go. And if he has prep fan here, that's tough. Alright, against this is just the most irrelevant thing in the world. So now it's semi-interesting whether I want to... It's semi-interesting what I want to do here. Because I want to make myself as resilient to a sweeper as possible, which means that I want to basically preserve this creature. But at the same time... it's like hard to get a favorable... It's like... it's hard to clear this thing. It's hard for me to clear this thing with just the Defender Argus. I think what I want to do is I want to play the Defender Argus here, hope the dagger hits here. If the dagger hits here, then I can trade this Imp in. And if the dagger doesn't hit there, then I can trade the Knife Juggler, which is not fantastic, but very acceptable. Alternatively, I could just trade the Knife Juggler in, and I could trade just the Knife Juggler in and play Piloted Shredder instead. But I don't think that's as good. It's surprisingly difficult to explain all of my plays, because normally I would have just like briefly considered each of my options and then just immediately dismissed it as sufficiently good or sufficiently bad on like a very intuitive level. But like having to just justify verbally why I like one particular play better than another is actually surprisingly difficult. So now I have 9 damage and a Dr. Boom in hand. So this is pretty solid. The question is what I want to do. It is kind of annoying to leave this up. Like I'd pretty strongly prefer to just clear his board entirely. Just because otherwise he can like actually like maybe like get rid of some of my sticky minions and properly clear my board. But I think clearing this is going to cost me something like 5 damage, which is just so much. Whereas if I just clear this and attack his face with everything, then it's really hard for him to just even like live through the turn. So I think that this is what I want to do. I think I just want to play this here and then just attack his face with all of my other creatures. And even if he does have a board clear here, it's probably going to take up his entire turn, and then I'll be able to play Dr. Boom against just this thing, which is pretty strong. Yeah, so it looks like he's going to probably clear my board this turn. Well, even that's really hard, right? He's probably going to need like Flurry and like Prep and then Fan, and then still something bad needs to come out of my Shredder. So it's not super clear to me how he's gonna live through this turn. Okay, Prep is the start he needs. What's weird is doing it here. Is this Tinker's Oil? No, Prep Eviscerate. Okay, Prep Eviscerate, Deadly Flurry. Okay, well, okay. This is... Yeah, not gonna cut it. Alright. Well, solid little win.